I'm back. So I know it has been a good hot minute since I have posted just a video sitting down talking. It's been crazy. Like, it's been super duper uber crazy, but I got you. I got you today. You know, and let me just preface this. I like to mix things up. I never like things to really stay the same. The best example on what that looks like for me and our family is we really don't like leftovers. So that's how much we kind of like, yeah, kind of tired of that. Let's try something new. Let's do something new. So I'm gonna mix it up a little bit with this video, and yes, trying a new little setting to see how this works, if it feels kind of, you know, cozy and comfortable. But today I'm going to focus this on all you single people out there and all you married couples out there with no kids, specifically with no kids. This is gonna be fun, okay? All right, so let's dive into it. Yeah, I was a little too bright. It was definitely that view, that whatever that lighting was doing was making me look a little too pale, so I had to adjust that a little bit. Okay, I think we're looking good. Okay, let's get started. I'm gonna just talk about advice that I would give to my prior self. So myself prior to kids. It's just some things that I think back on that I don't necessarily regret, you know, because I don't like the idea of regrets. You know, you live life, you learn from your mistakes, you learn from things that you like, things that you don't like, and then you move on. There's some things that me and Tim talk about sometimes. You're like, man, we should have did that. Like, we should have did this before we had kids. Just because, you know, it's super obvious. You have a lot more time on your hands when you do not have kids. Just have the freedom to kind of do whatever you want to do without having to arrange a babysitter or bring the baby along and think for, you know, all that stuff. Like, is it baby appropriate and kid appropriate, toddler appropriate, and all that stuff. So here are a few things that I would pass along to anybody that is kind of intrigued on what are some things that I should be doing now to enjoy our time together as a couple. One of the first things that me and Tim have said we would definitely have done prior to having kids is we would have subscribed to the meal delivery services. That would have been hands down one of the things we would have done. I've already kind of mentioned randomly that we don't like leftovers, and it's just really hard for us to get creative sometimes. I think it would have been really fun to do a meal delivery service so that we would have had something fun and new and exciting to learn with cooking. Second thing, we would have definitely traveled a little more. And I mean, just even on a small scale, like we would have traveled on the weekend, Friday, Saturday, come back Sunday, just to like get away. Cause I live in Houston. We moved to Houston 5 years ago, but I've never been to Dallas. Like, little things like that, like exploring Texas is a huge state. There's so much to see, but just never found time to do it just because we never thought for it. So that's one of the things, we would have just traveled a little more. Speaking of Dallas, this is a third quick one. What I would have wanted to do prior to having kids is go to the state fair. The state fair is in Dallas, I think. I would have definitely wanted to at least experience that and see what that was like in Texas. I don't think I've ever been to a state fair. I know, kind of random, but definitely I would have checked out the state fair. The fourth thing kind of goes along the lines of traveling. We would have explored perks that you get when you sign up for new credit cards. And so I'm not talking about getting into debt or anything like that. I'm talking about utilizing credit cards in order to gain major benefits. We currently do that now. We've been able to travel and stay at hotels for free and all that stuff merely because we have just signed up for a new credit card. So we would have done that so that we would have gotten free travel. You get what I'm saying? It goes hand in hand. So, you know, free airline, free hotel stay. All you have to do is basically pay for a car. I mean, and pay for food when you get there. But I mean, to fly for free and to stay somewhere for free, huge perk. So definitely we would have signed up for that way sooner. So the fifth thing is I would have really thought for other people a lot more who did have kids by babysitting their kids for free. May have a handful of times watched some people's kids. And it was really a shame because, I mean, we did have a lot of ample opportunity to babysit for some people, but we just didn't really think for it. I by no means was a baby person or a kid person prior to having kids. Not that I hated kids or babies, I just wasn't like, oh, come here, you know, let me hold you, let me play with you. Like, that just wasn't me. I never really thought to just think, you know, how can I serve some parents well? How can I help them out, you know, and give them a break? Like, if someone offered me right now, like, hey, let me watch your kids for free for 2 hours so you can go to the grocery store all by yourself. I mean, what? That's a game changer. Knowing what I know now, I would have definitely done that. I would have babysat some people's kids for free to give them a break because it's much needed. Much needed. The last thing, I would advise couples to read books together. So prior to having kids, there's just a lot of leisure time that you have. Some people may get upset with me for saying that, but it really is kind of true. And I'm only saying that because I've seen both sides. So thinking back, I'm like, man, what did I do with my Saturdays when I didn't have to wake up to a baby crying, needing me, you know, at 6 a.m. Like, what was I doing? Sleeping. I was probably sleeping. But anyways, I would definitely advise couples to read some books together and discuss them. Like, have a mini book club or something. Obviously, we all know reading, it stimulates the mind. It's super good. I find it's just really fun to learn about things with Tim that we just never knew before and discuss it and just see what we're learning and all that. And so I would definitely advise that. It's just reading a book together and then discussing it and have some fun with it. That's all I have for now. And let me end by saying, kids do not end your world. Don't hear me say that when you hear me say, you know, things to do before having kids on. Kids do not end your world. If anything, me and my husband, Tim, we have found that kids have, our 2 boys, they have immensely expanded our world, and they have brought truly so much joy, and we have learned so much in parenting them. And so it is a true treasure and a true delight to raise kids. If you're thinking about having kids, go for it. It is so much fun. Editing these videos is always the most awkward thing ever. Like, the most awkward thing ever. So I'm trying to make it all cool and like vibe out and all, but I just can't. I'm not a good ender. So anyways, so I'll see you guys later. I'll see you on the next video. If you have any comments, any thoughts, any questions, send them my way. I would love to chat with you. I'll see you next time. Bye.